Ready to go.
Basically, two main styles of arm wrestling. Arm wrestling's got lots of division points, but I feel like the easiest first step on starting to understand arm wrestling from a technical point of view is just to understand that in the fight that you call arm wrestling, you're either moving forward or you're moving back. And a lot of this is identified from your hip and from your shoulder. So in the match, like if I'm setting up at the table, I'm either coming away from somebody, okay, or I'm coming at them, okay. And the expression that goes on in the hand, there's lots of things, but this is the base root of how you understand it. So a lot of it is mindset, okay. As a great arm wrestler, you're gonna eventually want to get to a place where you're totally comfortable with both ideas, and that you can very quickly jump between the two. But the way I like to talk about them is one at a time. So the best way that I've come up with kind of understanding outside arm wrestling is just to be out of reach. And you guys have played with cats before, you know, like a cat and string. So if you're a cat, you know, I show you the string, and if you and I pull it out of the way, right? And the cat chases the string that it just can't quite get. And so do people, you know, especially if they don't think that they can maintain the high ground. Okay, there's this magical place in arm wrestling where both people are totally willing to hit outside, and to be a great outside arm wrestler, you have to get there. So that means that you have to be willing to hit into nothingness, to hit into no pressure, to hit into a feeling of the unexpected. Okay, and a lot of people aren't really comfortable with that, but you want to get there. But a lot of people you can bait, and when you can get somebody to bite onto something that they shouldn't, that's when outside strategy really works really well. So outside strategy is really about denial. It's about height, okay? And so much of height in arm wrestling is this, okay? This upwards drive, okay? And whoever can do this more, at some point, if both people do it, one person's probably get knocked down. At the highest point, somebody's gonna get knocked down slightly. And as soon as that person gets knocked down, then it gives the person who knocked them down the ability to come over with great advantage, okay? So this high attack, this high up power, this is how you get people to chase you. Now, there's two tips, okay? There's this finger and there's this thumb, okay? Both of them are about rising up, okay? This climb and this denial, okay? These two movements. So if you've got somebody and you're gonna arm wrestle them, and if you're gonna set with them, always show a high hand. Always show a high hand. And let's go this way. Okay, always show a high hand. And if you can ever get the person to reach, this is when your thumb really comes into play, okay? So when I come to the table, I always open my hand as wide as possible, especially in the upwards component. And I open my thumb as wide as possible. The reason why the thumb is so important is if I don't have it open, if I relax it, take a grip, okay, gets a nice grip, okay? Now take a grip, okay, right? It's the most simple thing in the world, okay? The person automatically doesn't get the grip that they want. So much of inside arm wrestling, which we're gonna get to, is getting around a person, okay? Having your thumb like this protects all your vital ground. One of the most dangerous places somebody can get to is fully around their hand where you can't find their fingers, especially if they get their finger anywhere near your knuckle. So as an inside arm wrestler, I'm aiming for this quite a lot, this knuckle, okay? As an outside arm wrestler, you're protecting this, you're hiding it. So when the person does start to chase you, you hide from them even more, and you start to do things like you supinate, okay? And supination, just be aware, it's not just here. Real supination is with the whole body, okay? It's not just, I'm not just here fiddling with my hand, okay? I'm not just doing this. I'm in tight, and if you come in, I cut you right off with my shoulder, okay? It's not just letting your hand dangle out in the wind, okay? You have your hand, you make people reach, and if they come inside, you cut them off with your shoulder, with supination. Okay, this is the basic mindset for outside arm wrestling. It's about height, it's about denial of grip, okay? All right, so quick thought about inside arm wrestling. So inside arm wrestling is coming forward. And the real, so let me backtrack, I apologize. So outside arm wrestling, the reason why it works is you're attacking the weakest part of somebody. You're attacking a person's fingertips. This is the weakest part of this whole thing that you get a bite on. If I can move this is the easiest part that I can manipulate. So that's my target. And that's what outside arm wrestling accomplishes. So you're thinking about the person's weakness. Okay, inside arm wrestling is a bit different. And inside arm wrestling, you're thinking about your strength. Inside arm wrestling is, the thought with inside arm wrestling is that your bones will break the other person's bones. That's the simple thought, okay? But it's done by better positioning. But this is really the ultimate trump card with inside arm wrestling. Ultimate trump in inside arm wrestling is to make the person afraid to show their frame to you. Okay? Inside arm wrestling makes the person have to run away, because if they come forward, they're gonna feel like they're gonna break their bones. Okay? And you do that just by better positioning. So everything in arm wrestling, it's a fight, okay? Fighting has happened for years outside of sport. And one of the best ways to fight anybody is from great height, okay? That's why the Air Force kicks ass, okay? Height wins wars, height wins sports, height is relevant on the arm wrestling table, okay? Height and depth are big advantages when it comes to winning inside arm wrestling matches. The strongest thing really that I think that the inside arm wrestler has is this connection. Boom. A lot of people think arm wrestling inside is about side pressure. Side pressure is good in arm wrestling, in inside arm wrestling, but the main drive is this connection ability, just this ability to connect. So when I'm thinking about inside arm wrestling somebody, come on up. What's your name?
Marcus.
Marcus, I've seen videos of you. Okay, Marcus, so if I'm ever thinking about inside arm wrestling somebody, it actually starts very early. So much of inside arm wrestling is about shoulder commitment, okay? So just take a grip with me here. Okay, so you'll see, there we go. So look at this, Marcus? Marcus, okay. So you see Marcus's angles here. His shoulder and his hand make a line. This line is very, very important. His shoulder and his hand are making a line that cut into my arm. Okay? My shoulder and my hand make a line that's pointing into his body. Okay? He has the angle advantage. And the reason why he has the angle advantage for inside arm wrestling is if both of us at the same point decide to bring our shoulders forward and our strength is anywhere near even, just slowly just start to bring your right shoulder forward. Okay, keep more, bring it forward. See, it's like we're putting chips down. He already has me beat on the angle. He's already got his shoulder in more. As I try and go with him and he does the same thing, it just gets worse and worse for me. Okay, until eventually, if I keep going, if our strengths are close, I might even break my arm or lose, okay? But there's a good chance, because so much of inside arm wrestling is throwing your frame at a person. There's so much spiral going through, okay? It gets dangerous. So you want to beat a person to the spot. So if I'm thinking about inside arm wrestling or arm wrestling a person in general, a lot of the time I start thinking about their shoulder. I just start thinking about it, okay? So I'm thinking about being a piece of string, and I'm thinking about their shoulder. So when I'm approaching you, like if I'm gonna arm wrestle you later in the event, okay, I might shake your hand in a fashion like this, okay? So that I just show you my shoulder, and you can start to read it. Like people are smart. It doesn't work on everybody, okay? But sometimes these small tricks, you'll start to see a person. People will start to reveal themselves to you, okay? And if somebody doesn't want to match my shoulder, okay, this is an advantage for me because it cuts down their options on what they can do. They can't really bring their shoulder forward if my shoulder's already there, okay? So when I come to the table, I start high, right? And this height is what's gonna give the other person trouble, okay? So when we come in, see, this is the pressure that I try and get them to feel, okay? This connection, somewhere in the setup, like when we're setting up, okay? See, is this little bit of depth, okay? Arm inside the body, okay? This connection is very safe, okay? And what this connection does is it attacks the person's bicep angle, which is so vital to running away. So what you've done is they don't want to come forward because you've already beaten them to the angle, and then you open their arm so that they've run into their top roll option, okay? So I always go past, okay? People talk about inside, they talk about going low on a person. It's not so much about going low, it's about going deep, okay? This depth, you see how far my hand goes past? Okay, my hand goes deep, okay? This ridge scares the shoulder. This ridge, so if he ever comes forward with the shoulder, the ridge cuts it off. And if they run away, you have enough depth that you can contain. And this move is much better done in the strap, of course, but this is the thought behind it. So you beat the person with the shoulder angle, and you'll fight for that, you'll fight from height, you'll bring down. If they bring the shoulder forward, you just go all in. And this is one of the crazy things about our sport. You know, test your frame, because this is a reality. This is a bone sport, this is a joint sport, okay? If you have superior bones and superior joints, the person has to run from you. And when they run from you, you can contain, okay? These ideas are also brought you know, they're easier to think about through the thumb. I've talked about this a lot, but outside arm wrestling, a simple way to think about it is you hide your thumb. Like, you make your thumb big. You make it so the person can't reach around your thumb. Big thumb. Like, if you try and grip me, my thumb is big. You can't get the grip that you want if you ever grip. Not as good a grip as you would want. If I want to go inside, I go small thumb. Small thumb. Okay? My thumb is low. My hand is high. My hand is deep. And the whole time in the set, all you have to do is say, I can't see my knuckles, I can't see my knuckles. The person has to drop their hand, okay? And you achieve hand height just in this simple manner. All right, so this is just an introduction on inside and outside thought. You guys want any questions about that? It's a bit, yeah.
So I don't know if you're covering it later, but when you're sort of stuck in that position, say your opponent's stronger than you, or he's got better height and depth, and you can't quite come in and cut through a hook, and you can't quite top roll. Yeah. What's the strategy there to try and get back into the match where you pretty much just can't?
Yeah. So, like the way I think about arm wrestling technique, another way is it's three things. Okay. It's about being strong. Okay, in the ways that arm wrestling requires, okay? And that's fundamental arm wrestling is hand high, okay? Being able to cup, being able to bend a person's wrist back, at the same time keeping your elbow inside your body, okay? If you go like this, okay, that's about as fundamental of a move as you can possibly do. There's no holes, okay? This is what pure offensive arm wrestling looks like. Up high, cupped in, rolling through, arm inside the body the whole way, okay? Now, the stronger guy doesn't always win. You see so many matches where a guy's not stronger than a person everywhere, or sometimes almost not stronger anywhere, and they still can win. And that's because they understand the art of retreat, okay? And the art of retreat just means that if I'm losing somewhere, like if I'm arm wrestling somebody, and if I'm trying to pull in a fundamental fashion, and no matter what I do, they're just stronger, okay? They're gonna beat me in some way, okay? If I continue to fight hard in the way they're beating me, nothing's gonna change and I'm just gonna lose. So I have to give them something, and I have to pick one of the, I'll say, 4 big chains, okay, that I can use as an anchor, okay? And a lot of these are kind of well known. If I want to fight in a style where I know that I have good wrist and good bicep, okay, I might end up looking like a press or a defensive hook, okay? And to achieve that, if the guy's too strong for me to just do this, I'm gonna be like, okay, turn me over, like take my pronation, take it, and in the process of him taking it, okay, I'm gonna secure one of my chains, okay? Or say that the person's got way too much top roll. Way too much top roll, they're gonna blow my hand apart. I'm gonna be like, okay, all right, take it, and I'm just gonna secure my pronation chain. And it might look a little bit like a king's move. Say they got too much, you have things you can give away. You can flop, okay? All these are defensive routes that you can get a stop. Once you get a stop, there's something called return to center. And I'll draw a little picture maybe. Yeah, return to center is kind of a neat idea that, I don't know if we got a marker. I'm really messy, so.
You get to rub off Giannis's.
Yeah, Giannis. What does Giannis know besides everything? No, Giannis is. That's like writing over the Bible. That guy is a smart dude.
We're going, coming.
So looking. Good. You're in business.
Oh.
That's okay. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, guys. So there's lots of ways to think about arm wrestling. Okay. Arm wrestling. You can think about arm wrestling like a hill. I grew up in Canada and we played King of the Hill all the time. And whatever you learn in one aspect of your life, if you understand it, you'll find that it has transference, okay? So you can apply it to different things. I find that the hill is divided into 2 halves. There's this imaginary spot way up in the middle, okay, that like you almost spend no time in. And I feel like it's that perfect spot that we talked about earlier, that perfect high up, cupped in, pronation pressure, keeping the arm inside the body. It's like a nice post, really, like a perfect setup, okay? Now, this is what everybody's trying to get to. That's what everybody's trying to get, okay? Everybody wants this spot in the setup, and you can feel it when you got it, right? Like when you have this spot, you control the top of the hill. The way that the person has to stay relevant is they have to run away from you. They have to run away from this. If they just stay there, they're just going to lose everything. Okay, so they typically run. We'll go this. We'll call this inside. Okay, and we'll call this outside. Okay, and these are retreats. These are retreats, really. Nothing wrong with retreating in a fight. Retreating, you can win. Great. Okay. And there's plenty of world champions who have retreating styles, and they do fantastic. But the more of this you have, the better you're going to be. So, inside, shoulder goes forward, and outside, the shoulder goes back. And this is all very general, okay? And then I will say that this diagram it'll get you like a 85 or a 90% accuracy, okay? You can pick holes in this, but it's pretty good. So at the very top of the pyramid, okay, as soon as you start to go one way or the other, this is a really nice, beautiful move. Like the highest move on the one side of the pyramid is the high hook. And on the outside, you got a super high top roll, okay? And the moves just kind of go down from here, okay? Like you'd break into like a low hand, all the way down. And this isn't like there's this and then there's this. It's a spectrum, right? And then you go all the way so that you'd start to lose your shoulder commitment all the way down to the bottom where you have the king's move, okay? On this side, you got a high hook, you know, then you're gonna start to get like more of a full hook, like a drag, and somewhere there's a press here, okay? Like the more you're moving from like floating in neutral ground to basically the more you're just fully committing your shoulder all the way to like a flop, okay? So the extremes of arm wrestling really have to do with shoulder commitment and what your hand's doing. So way on the inside, you can't get any more in than selling everything, selling your hand, selling everything, and just flopping. And you can't get any more outside than giving everything away and just hanging on your rotation in the wind, okay? So these are the extremes of arm wrestling. And these are retreats, okay? These are retreats. And the third rule of arm wrestling is you have to understand that you don't want to take what people are giving you, okay? As a person retreats, they give you things, okay? And if you can, you never ever take what's being given to you. You do the opposite. And this is a really tricky thing to try and figure out, but once you do, it's gonna really help your arm wrestling. It's very counterintuitive. So for example, if you're the stronger guy, so say I'm the stronger guy and I've got that beautiful spot and I'm getting control and the person throws away all his pronation. Throws it all away and he's coming forward with his shoulder and he's just trying to get his bite in and he's supinating, okay? So my instinct might be to take all that pronation that he's giving me. Oh, I would like that, yeah, that's free, okay? And that can be a conservative strategy, but at the same time, if you want to not take in what's being given to you, you actually do the exact opposite and you kick back. You kick back. So when they're coming at you, wanting you to take this, you actually kick back, okay? All right, so I kind of went a little bit off track, but to answer your question, all right, match stops somewhere. So say that I'm swinging outside and I land here. You're swinging inside, you land here, okay? We're kind of in that magical spot where it's stuck, okay? One of us brought our shoulder outside, the other brought it inside. Okay, this is very, very normal. Sometimes both people go out, sometimes both people go in, but this is much more normal. Sometimes there's a period of out and in, or in and out, okay? But normally at the end, one person's running, one person's approaching. But the person who's gonna have the efficiency and will most likely win the match, no matter the position, is the person who crosses back over the top of the pyramid, okay? So what that means is if I'm top rolling, okay, if I top roll and the other person hook and we stopped, we're both a little bit out of position because this is the ultimate position. The person who can return to center is gonna have all the advantages in this match and is gonna become more efficient as the match goes on. So if I hit my top roll, I'm a bit out of position, the first thing I should do is try to return to center. Try to return to center, okay? If I go inside, get my stop, bang, okay? I get my stop, my first thought in a stop match should be return to center. Try and climb back up to get to this spot. If you get to this spot, you control the pyramid, and what you have is your technical arsenal and ability to chase the guy down, 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 and control more and more of the hill is gonna broaden, and you're gonna outlast, you're gonna out-endure, you're gonna have more options. The person's gonna fade and they're gonna lose by running out of shoulder commitment or running out of hand. Anyway, so that's what you do when you can't beat a person, like, I guess. Hey, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.